I want to talk about, there's a lot of talk on the internet today about what makes a quote-unquote real Christian. And like a real Christian, quote-unquote. And this is a very dangerous topic to get into for multiple reasons. Again, this is Candace Owens and Jordan Peterson, both of whom I like. They got into this, Jordan Peterson called her a Pharisee, and that set off a whole bomb of stuff on the internet. It was a stupid comment, all this sort of thing. And there's all these talk about these right-wing Christian, Nick Fuentes and all those idiots that are online who hate Jews, they hate black people. It's like all of this is awful. Like, it's not Christian at all. It's not biblical at all. And so there's this big roiling just pot of, again, demonic, sinful wickedness that's just coming out of the internet, all these other things. But I do think that all of it is centered on what Christianity really means and how we need to act out our faith, which is an important conversation. I just think a lot of people in the culture are getting it wrong, very wrong. It's an important discussion, but it's getting way out of control in terms of who the real enemies are. Jordan Peterson is not the enemy. Candace Owens is not the enemy. Like all these people, and Nick Fuentes is an enemy because he's deliberately using the Bible to pervert Christianity, so he is an enemy. But like the people like Jordan Peterson, like it's all a psyop. It's all a psyop. It's getting way out of control. And the people what I want to focus on is like, so if these people are all out of control, who should you listen to? And I want to shout out a woman that I think is one of the bravest women people, I should say, not even women, people in our culture today, who wrote a great book last year, one of my favorite books I've read in all of last year, called Shepherds for Sale. Her name is Megan Basham. She is a reporter for the Daily Wire, who I have my issues with, as you guys know. But Megan Basham is a powerhouse. She is a hero, in my opinion. And she wrote a great book last year called Shepherds for Sale. And the point of the book is that many faith leaders and influencers are currently captured by ideology that they are using as a battering ram to discuss Christianity with. It's mostly captured by left-wing institutions. There's a lot of institutional left-wing creep around like DEI and climate change and all that sort of thing, which is awful and terrible and not biblical at all. However, there is an increasingly right-wing political creep as well. And so this is the ultimate point. If it is not biblical, if the person talking about Christianity is not framing it in a biblical context, it is wrong. If they are discussing an issue from a political lens or an identity politics lens or a conservative lens or a liberal lens, but they do not consult the Bible first and check it with the Bible, it is wrong. It is inaccurate. And unfortunately, what a lot of religious leaders and pastors do, and quote-unquote influencers in Christian faith do, they take the Bible and they pervert it. This is exactly what Nick Fuentes does. They take the Bible and pervert it to say that, black people really are, just there's something especially wrong about those people, or the Jews, or, whatever. And that's wrong, obviously. And unfortunately, what's happened is that a lot of religious leaders, religious influencers, have been swallowed by this ideology-first, faith-later presupposition. And, Pastor Mark Driscoll, again, made a point a couple weeks ago in a series that he's doing at his church in Arizona. And he said, a very bold statement, that hell is going to be filled with pastors. It's going to be filled with priests. It's going to be filled with Christian influencers. And people are like, whoa, oh my God, Pastor Mark just saying something to be controversial. No. It's not controversial at all. Hell is going to be filled with pastors and priests and religious leaders and elders and influencers, because they have destroyed the Word of God and perverted the Word of God to impose an agenda in their congregation, on their social media following, whatever. I'm going to be tolerant of this. I'm going to be accepting of this. Donald Trump says this, so therefore the church is going to say it. No. Many pastors are so enslaved to that ideology, that demonic cult ideology. And by the way, to their pulpit, to their donations, to the tithes, to the money that the people give at the church, that they've given up the Word of God, the one thing that church is supposed to be, to save face of their congregation and keep the gravy train moving. Well, if I don't talk about, biblical submission in my church, most of my church congregants are women, and if I say that you need to submit to your husbands, and there's a lot of talk about that, by the way, I want to be nuanced on that, but the Word is clear. then I'm going to lose my tithe. And so therefore I'm going to only bash the men in the church and not insult the women. Oh, well, my church is filled with a lot of young people who are living together before they're married. Can't call out cohabitation. They'll walk out of church. I'll lose their tithe. And it keeps going. And the slippery slope gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. Then they're left. And what these leaders, and they're in a difficult position, but they need to understand, this is the life they chose. There is a price to be paid for anybody who adopts the Christian faith, but particularly for the leadership of Christians. There is a price to be paid for the faith. And many leaders in the Christian faith have sold out the faith for that purpose. They have sold out the Word of God. They have sold out Christianity to support an agenda, a demonic, cult-like agenda that is not biblical at all. So, what's the solution to this? For anybody, not just a pastor or priest or whatever. The solution to this is, I'll go to Tony Evans now, Pastor Dr. Tony Evans, who wrote a great book called Kingdom Politics. You read it in our group last year, or before the election. The solution to this is what Tony Evans calls being a kingdom independent. You must keep the faith, the Christian faith, above all else as a Christian. That is what the faith calls for. The temptation to sin against the faith in favor of different ideologies will always be tempting. So I always say, Jason Whitlock says this, going back to maybe what I started with earlier. Jason Whitlock said, people come up to Jason and say, oh, Jason, you're a conservative. Jason says, no, I'm a Christian. I'm not a conservative. I'm a Christian. That's the mentality. That is the mentality you need to adopt. Hey, are you Democrat, Republican? I'm a Christian. Or are you for Black Lives Matter, anti-Black Lives Matter? I'm a Christian. Are you for LGBT, anti-LGBT? I'm a Christian. I am not anything. I am a Christian first. I am a Christian. And all those ideologies come second to the one true God, the one true faith of Christianity, of Jesus Christ. It will always be tempting to succumb to that. But you cannot give in. Because if we do, and many mainline denominations are gone because of this mentality. United Methodists, gone. Catholicism, gone in large ways. Because if we do, as Christians, if we succumb to this ideology over faith, presupposition, we lose everything. We lose the faith. We lose Christianity. We lose God, which is where Christianity is headed if we do not stand firm and say that we believe what we believe for a reason and keep the faith, guard the faith, protect the faith, because that's what we're called to do as Christians. Follow God, protect the faith.